fall ball. You had a great day here against Indiana, 16 innings. Your thoughts overall of just how today went?
I thought we would be cleaner than last weekend, like football, week 1 to week 2, and we were pretty clean. I thought, most of our pitchers were aggressive in the strike zone. We made some good plays on defense. As you can see, we still might botch up a base running thing here or there. It's an aggressive system, and sometimes it takes time for guys to get comfortable in it. But other than maybe not getting a couple big hits, leaving the bases loaded a few times, I thought we did a lot of good things today.
We've got so many guys that have come in through the transfer portal as well as some new freshmen. How are they all meshing together through this fall ball?
It's more on me, I think, as the coach. I'm as someone who takes so much pride in our system and the development piece, you realize you have so many new faces. So in the past, it was 75% returners or 60% returners, and so the new guys, there was a sense of urgency to catch up, and the older guys could teach them the system. As I realized this fall, there's not as many returners, there's not as many old guys, so there's not as much a sense of urgency because there's so many new faces. So they look to the right, he don't know what I'm talking about. The guy to his left, he don't know what I'm talking about. And so it dawned on me, the practices were taking a little longer, and the explanations were taking a little longer, and more time on the chalkboard, the old PowerPoint. But that's my job, as the coach and our coaches, and so. But I mean, they get along, they work hard. There's talent. We gotta really take pride in the fundamentals and teaching our system.
Because of the new guys, though, do you feel there's a different energy this fall?
Not
good or bad. Just
yeah,
different.
no, it doesn't. For me, it's a lot of competition. I think that's always healthy. Guys wanting to get better. We get eliminated in Omaha, or we lose in a regional, or don't play in a regional. I think there's always a chip on the shoulder, and the guys are chomping to get back at it. But having so many, we did have that core talented group, the 3 USA guys. We had about 7-8 guys in the Cape, the Northwoods. So even though we have a lot of new faces, there was a core group returning that, and they were chomping at the bit. And I think it's fun seeing them mesh with the new guys. It's fun seeing the talent we brought in. That was a big concern, knowing you have guys exiting and new guys coming in. When I went to USA Baseball, I sat down with Zion and Forbes and Bivin, and I had my spreadsheet and I had my depth chart, and they wanted to know. They were curious, who we got coming in. And nowadays with social media, you guys, and there's a lot they can follow. They can see guys in the Northwoods League. They can see this guy in the Cape. They can go to stats and see what type of player this guy is. So everybody was kind of curious, as to what talent we were bringing in. And as you see, there's a combination of some young stars, and there's some guys, older guys that'll help us.
Go ahead.
Does it make it a little bit more difficult just with the mixing of the way college sports is now, just with basically the transfer portal and the overturning of the roster a little bit? Does it make it a little bit more difficult in terms of just like keeping the culture of the team the way you want it?
I guess you trust these guys, and we feel like we've always attracted good kids, good families, hardworking. We're still being who we are, whether you came from a junior college, whether you came from a 4-year school, whether you came out of high school. I mean, we're still preaching the same message, and this is who we are, this is what we're about. We don't want to be for everybody. We want to be for those who want what we offer, and we got a lot to offer. So I feel good, about the culture. Like I said, I think it's more on the coaches to get them to understand our system a little bit quicker than maybe years in the past where we had so many returners and you just had a few guys you were sprinkling in. Now you have as many new guys as returners.
Zion Rose seems like a guy who's ready to kind of take that next step and become kind of a national spotlight guy, even more so than last year. And what have you seen from him since the end of last year? Obviously, he had the Team USA experience, but as far as developing and growing, both as a player and as a person?
I'm sure he just has a little more confident knowing what he was up for. As a freshman, you kind of don't know. He always worked hard, I thought, last year, but I'm sure this year it's much more of a professional routine. Now knowing what's offered, now knowing what he's got in front of him, now knowing what he can do to be the best player that he could be. But he does fall in line with some of the great players that we've coached in terms of work ethic and desire. And I've always said it, I mean, and we love getting credit for the great players that have played here, but it starts with them. We're not sprinkling magic dust on their head. They have a desire. You know, I think that I hear Dalton Rushing was the minor league player of the year. I give Dalton a lot of credit, man, because we were hard on him. We loved him. We coached him. It wasn't easy. I mean, he fought his way in the mix, but Dalton wanted to be great. That's why he stayed here. That's why he stuck it out. And that's why it's fun seeing the success that he's having. So from all those guys on the All-American wall and the guys that are playing in the big leagues, man, it's fun seeing that Zion has that desire, you know. And so as a coach, you feel like, man, I gotta give him everything I got. I mean, he's a sponge, man. He's in chapel. He's sitting there. He's got his notebook open. I mean, he's wanting to learn. He's wanting to write things down. And so I love that. And I know his energy and desire to grow kind of permeates throughout the club.
You know,
Go ahead.
another guy on that level, obviously Forbes. What has you excited about his season? The possibility that he could be the guy that, you know, leads your rotation out each weekend.
Just sticking to the process. One of our signs in the dugout, the 1% better, and the sticking to the process down in that basement. I'm not a patient person, but I do have patience when it comes to baseball, you know, and he's went from an everyday hitter, reliever, to a hybrid last year, and unfortunately he just went through the lap pull and the hand injury and just didn't get that full year. So he's doing everything in his power, and you know what he did with USA Baseball and the Cape this summer. I mean, he looks like he can be one of the great pitchers that we've had, you know. And so, but I'm always as excited as for all those sophomores. You know, that's where the jump has always been our program, from freshman to sophomore year. And he'd have made that jump last year if he'd have gotten a full sophomore year. We saw flashes of it. So you saw some sophomores, you know, throw today. That's exciting, because that's where you see some big jumps in our program.
You are going to need more, you know, some contributions from some freshmen this year. You saw some very talented arms, especially early in the day, that threw really well. And obviously, you know, Davis has shown the way he can, you know, hit the ball here early in the fall. You have to be really excited just about the way that these guys are playing, and the last 2 years, the way you've been able to get all these guys on campus.
Yeah, we've still recruited at a high level. You know, we've fallen short come the end of the spring with the standard here, but you know, back-to-back really, really good recruiting classes, and we play freshmen. So I don't, you know, in the recruiting world right now, is obviously kids are chasing a lot, and I don't blame them. You know, get everything you can get. You know, we've offered playing time and opportunity. You know, and so that excites certain kids. You know, keep the main thing the main thing. Other kids they're wanting other things, which is fine. Go chase what you want. You know, you want playing time, you want to develop, you want to be in the program that's pump guys to the big leagues. Louisville baseball's here for you, man. So, and I know there's a lot of good programs out there, but you know, that's what we've hung our hat on. We just need to combine that with a few more wins and get back on track.
How much of what we saw from Davis today is what you've seen this fall?
Yeah, we've seen that. You know, I don't want to take it for granted and act
Sure.
like it's easy, but our kids have seen that. I'm be curious to see when you ask them and you talk to them, you know, they see the talent, they see the potential in there. I'm more kind of optimistic and excited that he wants to learn, he wants to grow, he wants to be coached. You know, obviously I say his dad because he's the former big leaguer, but his mom was a college coach, and so I mean his parents have done a great job with him. I'm just excited that he wants to learn, he wants to grow. There's no entitlement. He knows he's got to earn it, and I'm sure with the family he's coming from, he knows he's got to earn it tomorrow. You know, you never arrive. And but yeah, you saw it today. We've been seeing that most of the fall.
Kind of knock these fall ball games out of the way. What are the main things you're looking to focus on teaching wise and improvement wise these last few weeks of your fall practice?
I'll speak for Coach Snyder and Coach Rabel. As situational hitting, you know, what are you doing when there's runners in scoring position? What's the approach? You would hope the light starts to come on. Why are these guys always throwing the ball middle away? Why are they trying to get me to stay on the ball? Why do we have middle rounds and oppo rounds? And sometimes it's got to be pull rounds, because just how people are going to pitch you until you show you can hit a ball the other way, you know, they're going to stay away. And then when you show you can hit a ball the other way, then they'll start to bring the ball back in. And so I would think those two have the hitter's attention as much as everybody. But like I said out there, man, we got to get better in so many areas. And there's just, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's enough fundamental practices to teach your system and get everything you want to get in. But to this point, I'm really pleased with the fall, and you know, having played back to back, you know, good opponents, man. We learned a lot about our guys.
Awesome.